Chosen one, take a breath, because what you're about to hear will shift everything. This isn't a random moment. You didn't stumble on this by accident. You were guided here, handpicked, divinely aligned, and right on time. There's something massive about to break open in your life, and the universe has been waiting for you to be ready. And now, you are. You've felt it, deep down, the sense that you were made for more, that you were set apart, that your story wasn't supposed to end in struggle. That tug you've been feeling, that fire you couldn't explain, it's real, and it's about to erupt into something you've never experienced before. This is more than change. This is transformation. Everything you've been praying about, quietly hoping for, and secretly holding close in your heart, it's already in motion. Not someday, not eventually. Now, and the moment it hits, you'll remember this as the turning point. God's not just working on your behalf. He's elevating you for a purpose. You are not ordinary. You're not overlooked. You are seen, called, and positioned. So stay close. What you're about to hear will reveal just how deeply you've been loved, chosen, and prepared. Because if you knew what God really thought about you, it would blow your mind. Underneath the surface of everything unraveling around you, there's an unseen current, pulling you closer to something far greater than yourself. Not a coincidence, not a random moment. This is a pivotal ripple in your personal timeline. Before anything else unfolds, take decisive action. Press the like button, subscribe so this frequency reaches others, and drop 55 in the comments to send your intention into motion. What's happening now isn't casual. It's a magnetic pull toward awakening. Engaging with this shift doesn't just support a message, it marks the moment your spirit agrees with its own evolution. The final days of this month carry a hidden momentum. When it lands, you won't just witness change, you'll become it. Something ancient and unshakable is rising through the cracks of the ordinary, an invisible framework that's been waiting for this very moment to activate. As the final days of this season count down, an unseen alignment begins to take shape, one that defies reason and expectation. This isn't about isolated individuals, it's a surge that will echo through every corner of consciousness. What's coming isn't random. It's a precise ignition of a long gestating design crafted beyond comprehension. This isn't just a notice, it's a spiritual summons. The window is narrowing. Momentum is accelerating. An undercurrent of knowing is building inside, the kind that refuses to be ignored. It's not a hunch. It's not wishful thinking. It's the whisper of something far greater unfolding in real time. Everything that's happened until now was a signal, a quiet preparation for a tide that will soon become impossible to overlook. These final days mark more than a shift. They are the birthing ground for an uprising that transcends understanding. Not a chapter closing, but a realm opening. Those who've walked through the fire and held their truth in silence will no longer stand at the edge. They will become the architects of what's next. What is set into motion now won't just alter individual paths, it will reshape the collective pulse. And the moment that spark hits, everything changes. Because this isn't just another turning point, it's the beginning of something eternal. What's been quietly forming beneath the surface is now preparing to erupt with undeniable force. This is not speculation, it's the assured unveiling of a new order. A sudden, astonishing realignment is nearing, and those attuned to the deeper current will find themselves standing at the center of a global shift. Envision a world where the once unreachable becomes effortlessly attainable, where the improbable bends in your favor without warning. This is not fantasy. It's the emergence of a new breed, those born to lead, not by conquest, but by awakened presence. In the coming days, synchronicities will appear like constellations pointing the way forward. Barriers will dissolve like fog under sunlight, and what once felt distant will approach with stunning clarity. This awakening isn't about accumulating personal power. It's a reclamation of purpose long written into the marrow of destiny, not for glory, not for comfort, but to spark a collective elevation. The rise of the awakened ones is a surge in conscious momentum, a signal that the age of luminous transformation has begun. Externally, the environment will shift in response to this emergence. Voices will be amplified. Presence will become magnetic. Without asking for recognition, influence will expand organically, and through that expansion, others will find shelter, clarity, and renewal. The path is no longer something to walk alone. It is a luminous road meant to be lit for many, and those who carry the fire will become both compass and flame. Everything is shifting so rapidly and so mysteriously that no logic could have braced the soul for what's already beginning to emerge. A hidden architecture, long encoded beneath the layers of reality, is now activating with staggering precision. In the weeks ahead, what unfolds will not simply be seen, it will be felt in the marrow of existence itself. The coming wave isn't reserved for a select few. It's a global recalibration. What once seemed solid will begin to fragment. Patterns will collapse, the unseen will rise, and the pulse of transformation will beat louder than any denial. An undercurrent has already begun whispering through the noise, a sensation that something immense is approaching and can no longer be dismissed. This isn't chaos, it's design in motion. Long-standing illusions will fracture like thin glass, and in their place, unfiltered truth will surge to the surface. This sacred unraveling marks the arrival of a long-awaited turning point, especially for those who've sensed destiny humming in their spirit without knowing why. That quiet pull is now roaring into clarity. Every passing hour sharpens the frequency of that calling. And whether or not the mind can fully interpret it, the soul already knows the alignment is real and the assignment has begun. Transformation doesn't arrive in silence, it arrives in phases. Each wave will stretch and sculpt the inner landscape, tearing down what was never meant to last and resurrecting what always lived within. The unfolding ahead will push limits, burn away illusions, and elevate consciousness to an entirely new plane. And through it all, an ancient purpose will finally step forward and take the lead. This is your moment. Hit subscribe now and step into something greater. Don't miss out. Some awakenings don't arrive with a whisper. They break through like a flood, swift and undeniable. The first wave of this transformation arrives without warning, catapulting life into unfamiliar territory where former limits no longer apply. Almost overnight, a stream of abundance, material, relational, and spiritual, begins flowing in ways once thought unreachable. Access is granted where there was once resistance. What felt distant now rushes forward, and influence grows in places never expected. But this ascension isn't rooted in ego or excess. It's the ignition of sacred stewardship. With every elevation in reach comes a deeper call to integrity, to service, to conscious leadership. This isn't about hoarding or hierarchy. This is divine redistribution through chosen vessels. The momentum rising now carries more than wealth or recognition. It carries vision, voice, and spiritual gravity. The transformation doesn't just place someone in high rooms, it equips them to lift others out of the shadows. As this new level of impact unfolds, there's a deeper knowing that none of it was earned through mere ambition. This is orchestration, not coincidence. It's not a reward, it's a role, a placement in the blueprint of something higher, something global, something sacred. And walking through this phase means walking with reverence, knowing that what has been given is meant to awaken purpose not just in one, but in many. Some shifts begin from the inside, quiet yet irreversible. As outer circumstances stretch into new realms, something even more profound stirs within. A deeper frequency begins to awaken, one that sharpens perception beyond the visible and attunes the soul to hidden rhythms in others. What once felt subtle now becomes vivid. The unspoken becomes clear. This internal evolution deepens emotional intuition and strengthens the ability to interpret unseen currents flowing through every moment. Presence becomes magnetic, not because of effort, but because of the invisible light radiating from within. Beings, both human and otherwise, respond instinctively, sensing the purity and calm that moves through this awakening. This expansion isn't loud. It doesn't demand. It uplifts. It calls others inward without a word, inviting them to remember who they are. Authority isn't claimed, it's recognized, flowing from stillness rather than striving. What begins as personal revelation soon evolves into guidance for the collective. Influence multiplies, not by design, but by alignment. This stage reminds that the true mark of leadership is not in commanding attention, but in holding the kind of peace that others feel safe stepping into. Wisdom, grounded in humility, becomes the force that moves mountains, quietly, precisely, unshakably. The third wave arrives like a tremor in the soul of the world, subtle at first, but soon undeniable. Long-standing belief systems begin to fracture as outdated ideologies dissolve in the face of undeniable clarity. Illusions thin, deception stumbles. The ground beneath old systems begins to split. What many accepted as truth is now seen as theater. And in the vacuum that follows, those called to carry the light will no longer hesitate. Purpose crystallizes. Direction sharpens. The veils are lifted, and the way forward is no longer blurred. Those aligned with truth won't just speak. They'll become anchors in the chaos, lighting the way toward a new collective consciousness. The time to observe has passed. This is the hour to embody. Everything that once felt fragmented now converges with precise clarity. The threads of past experiences, challenges, and silent preparations begin to form a pattern so intentional it leaves no doubt about the path ahead. The role once sensed as distant or undefined is now worn like a second skin, natural, irrefutable, and fully owned. This stage isn't marked by confusion or hesitation, but by full embodiment. Every skill once questioned now finds its purpose. Every loss now reveals its deeper gift. The weight of responsibility becomes a crown, not of dominance, but of sacred duty. With it comes a quiet power, rooted in humility, capable of reshaping what once seemed immovable. This phase doesn't ask for perfection, it demands presence. It's the turning point where potential becomes action and vision takes on flesh. The resources, the influence, the voice. They're not random perks, they are keys, and they now rest in the hands of those who understand their use is not to control, but to uplift. The movement forward will not be carried by one. It will be a convergence of aligned souls rising together, each one becoming a catalyst for global awakening. The mission no longer whispers, it roars, and the time to step into it is no longer coming. It's already here. In this final emergence, something long guarded becomes fully unlocked. A divine surge of support floods into every space of the journey, not just as hope, but as tangible backing. Direction sharpens, barriers dissolve. The vision once held quietly in the heart now begins to materialize on the world's stage, not through force, but through alignment with a power that transcends logic. Provision, influence, and favor accelerate, but not for vanity's sake. These are tools, not trophies, instruments of purpose meant to build, heal, and illuminate. The magnitude of this phase stretches far beyond individual dreams. Borders will blur, impact will multiply. The ripple effect of each decision will extend into places never imagined. This isn't about arrival, it's about ignition, a signal that the world is ready, and the ones chosen to lead are no longer watching from the sidelines. They are shaping what comes next. Every resource that appears now does so with intention, because what is being built must endure, inspire, and elevate for generations. And at the heart of it all is a sacred vow: to use the gifts received not as possessions, but as vessels of transformation for all. This is your moment. Hit subscribe now and step into something greater. Don't miss out. When the world reaches its tipping point, only those grounded in truth will remain unmoved. The final surge in this transformation won't arrive quietly. It will disrupt, dismantle, and disarm everything built on illusion. A chain reaction of global shifts will unfold with rapid intensity. Systems will fracture, long-standing hierarchies will falter, and uncertainty will ripple through every layer of society. But in the eye of this storm, something greater will emerge. A wave of leaders, not self-appointed but divinely positioned, will rise, not to dominate, but to restore. These are the ones prepared in silence, refined through pressure, and now fully activated for a time such as this. This isn't collapse for the sake of destruction, it's a sacred clearing. The old scaffolding must fall for the new framework to take form. While the masses wrestle with confusion and fear, the awakened will move with calm conviction. They will not just navigate the chaos, they will shape what follows it. This moment isn't about survival, it's about realignment, a total system reset, orchestrated not by chance, but by higher intention. And those called to lead through it will not flinch. They will understand the weight of the moment and rise into it with unwavering clarity. The shift that's coming marks the beginning of a global recalibration, and the ones chosen to carry the light will do so not to be seen, but to illuminate the path forward for all. When the old structures begin to fracture and the familiar crumbles, it won't be fear that rises. It will be clarity, purpose, and unshakable alignment. A great turning has begun, one that will unravel outdated systems and usher in a complete recalibration of human consciousness. Economic instability, environmental disarray, and leadership collapse will not mark the end. They will mark the birthing of something transcendent. Those who have been quietly refined through adversity will now take their place, not as rulers, but as architects of a world anchored in integrity, compassion, and sacred intelligence. This isn't about enduring chaos, it's about becoming the compass in its midst. True leaders will emerge not with grand speeches, but through steady action and unwavering resolve. They will become living templates of what's possible when power and purpose converge. And while the challenges ahead may stretch the global spirit, they will also crack open hidden potential on a mass scale. The shift won't be led by institutions. It will be carried by individuals united in a common rhythm, guided by something deeper than logic. This isn't the end of something, it's the start of something long prophesied, a restoration of divine order. And those chosen to carry it will not only be ready, they'll be unstoppable. When everything around seems unrecognizable, those marked by divine clarity will become impossible to ignore. These are the ones who won't retreat. When pressure mounts, they'll rise with unmatched stillness. Their presence won't shout, yet it will command attention. They will walk through fire without flinching, drawing others toward a vision that feels like home. This is not performance, it is purpose in motion. With every step, a path is cleared for others to follow, and in their wake, hope reignites. The time for scattered movements is ending. What follows is a synchronized awakening. Souls tuned to a higher frequency will no longer act alone. They'll converge, weaving together a force so pure it cannot be corrupted. Each one a mirror, reflecting possibility. Each one a bridge, guiding others across the unknown. What fuels this is not ambition, it is divine remembrance. And through their union, a movement is born, not bound by borders or creeds, but by a shared flame that lights the way forward. These leaders will not dominate, they will illuminate. They are the carriers of tomorrow, and the world will find its rhythm through their resonance. Some are born for moments that redefine history, and this is one of them. A divine spotlight is moving across the earth, illuminating those whose time has come, not through chance, not through effort, but through alignment with a higher call that's been echoing since the beginning. The moment is no longer approaching, it has arrived, and those who are quietly being molded through trials, silence, and inner fire will now be brought forward. Their assignment isn't small, it's generational, it's catalytic, and it will demand the full capacity of their spirit. They will not step into this season timidly. They will walk with certainty, because they finally understand that their existence is the answer to a world desperately searching for direction. A massive elevation is unfolding, not just in visibility, but in sacred responsibility. Resources once withheld will be released with divine precision. The shift will seem sudden to those watching from the outside, but for those rising, it will feel like perfect timing. Influence will expand, but not for applause. It will be a key, a vessel, a means to establish what only awakened leadership can create. This increase is not a reward, it's a divine strategy, and those receiving it will know instinctively that what's being placed in their hands is not for self, but for service. They will rebuild what was broken, restore what was silenced, and bring light into realms where shadows once ruled. As this shift intensifies, a deeper inner alignment will emerge. Prosperity and purpose will no longer be in conflict. They will walk side by side. The more abundance flows, the more clarity deepens. Compassion will grow sharper, vision will widen, and leadership will be defined not by position, but by presence. Those chosen to rise will lift others as they climb. They will activate the dormant in others, and they will serve not out of obligation, but out of revelation. This is not about being seen. It's about becoming what the world has been waiting for. The divine design is unfolding now, and those called to carry it will not hesitate. They will move boldly, strategically, spiritually, and the world will never be the same because of it. A global frequency has begun to rise, a pulse that calls forth those who were never meant to walk alone. This isn't a coincidence. It's the activation of a deeper current that binds awakened souls across continents and cultures. All at once, individuals are coming online to their sacred assignment, realizing they were never simply surviving, they were being prepared. This ignition is not isolated, it's synchronized, a collective convergence of purpose that will ripple through every level of existence, shifting what the world once believed was possible. As these paths intersect, a new architecture forms, not of buildings or borders, but of unified intention. Those answering the call will not merely walk beside each other, they will amplify one another. Their wisdom will flow like tributaries into a single river of clarity, movement, and transformation. Together, they become a living constellation, each one illuminating the sky with distinct brilliance, yet moving in divine harmony. The strength that rises from this unity cannot be measured by numbers. It is measured in resonance, alignment, and unwavering resolve. What's unfolding is not the rise of a few. It's the birth of a collective force rooted in spirit, not ego. The gifts carried by each soul are no longer scattered. They are interlocking, becoming part of a grand spiritual mechanism designed to uplift and guide. Every conversation, every collaboration, every aligned action becomes a channel for something far greater than the sum of its parts. This is more than a movement. It is a global recalibration of light through willing vessels. Those stepping forward now carry not just a message, but a mission. And through their unity, they will not only awaken others, they will help rewire the very future of the world. This is your moment. Hit subscribe now and step into something greater. Don't miss out. There are realms of influence far beyond what the eye can see. Forces that operate in silence, yet leave unmistakable imprints on the path ahead. These invisible movements are not random. They are intentional, precise, and deeply connected to the sacred mission now unfolding in your life. Energies beyond logic are aligning circumstances, removing obstacles, and activating the gifts that were planted in you long before this moment arrived. What moves around you is not just fate. It is intelligent orchestration designed to strengthen your spirit and guide your steps. This spiritual momentum isn't just supportive, it's catalytic. It doesn't just comfort, it empowers. And as this divine current intensifies, a new level of awareness will awaken within you. What once seemed out of reach will come within grasp. What once felt uncertain will now pulse with clarity. This power is not loud, but it is unmistakable, flowing from a source that requires reverence, not control. With each act of surrender, its flow grows stronger, and the more aligned you become, the more evident its fingerprints will be across your life. This isn't about magic or fantasy, it's about divine intelligence meeting a prepared vessel. Your thoughts will sharpen, your choices will feel guided, and pathways once hidden will now light up before you. You won't always be able to explain it, but you'll know it's real. That knowing will become your compass. This unseen assistance is not meant to be hoarded. It is meant to be wielded for impact, with intention and integrity. As it lifts you higher, it will also root you deeper in responsibility. This power isn't the reward, it's the tool. And through it, you will help shape a future that reflects the greater truth you've been called to carry. Some seasons arrive not with noise, but with quiet precision, aligning every thread of your life into a tapestry that finally begins to reveal its meaning. What once felt like disruption now glows with unmistakable order. The timing of this shift is not a coincidence. It's a divine orchestration that has been building beneath the surface, waiting for this exact moment to emerge. As this new phase approaches, clarity begins to settle in your spirit like never before. Patterns you couldn't decipher are now forming direction. The delays, the redirections, the silence, it all served a purpose greater than the mind could grasp in the moment. This transition is not something to resist, it's something to welcome with open arms. Every closed path, every unanswered prayer, every seemingly random twist was a part of the design. And now, with remarkable ease, things begin to unfold. What once felt far suddenly stands before you. The timing of this arrival is so exact, it dissolves every doubt that preceded it. You're no longer chasing, you're aligning. And in that alignment, the gates open, not just to possibility, but to fulfillment. A deep calm begins to replace restlessness. It's not just the absence of struggle, it's the presence of divine flow. The next chapter isn't just beginning, it's unlocking. The clarity you once begged for becomes your new reality. The purpose that once flickered in the distance now burns steady and strong. The stage is being set not only for resolution, but for release. Trust that this unfolding is intentional. Every detail is being handled by unseen hands that have never left your side. As this portal opens, receive it with reverence, because what's ahead is not a continuation. It's a divine unveiling of everything you were meant to walk in all along. There are moments in history when everything dims, when fear, confusion, and despair seem to drown out all clarity. And it's in those very moments that a different kind of presence emerges. Not loud, not flashy, but steady, unwavering, and undeniable. This presence does not seek the spotlight. It becomes the light. It doesn't flinch at the weight of the storm because it knows it was forged for the very eye of it. What the world calls crisis, these ones recognize as calling.